OK, we're going to kick off with Thursday's Daily Mail. Steve, what are they leading with?
It's, all about the Met chief. On your head be it. Rishi Sunak warned that Britain's top policeman, that he will be held accountable if there's any trouble at the protest. It's interesting how it's become political. It's also, I think, there's part of it. Imagine that meeting, that high-pressured 45-minute meeting, where there's a strong chance that Mark was sat there thinking, I could just wait until you don't have the job.
Yes.
It's difficult to have teeth when there's a chance that you're not in charge.
What could Rishi Sunak do at this point? I mean, the thing is, there's been a lot of pressure on him to ban the march outright. Yeah. And, you know, we are a liberal society, so he's not going to go that far. But whatever he does, he will be castigated for. Is that not right?
Well, and maybe this is Rishi's move, to move it all onto the police.
Yes.
And then make it their decision and go, oh, look, they decided not to ban it. I mean, how could you ban it? As you say, the principle is, if you start banning protests, it's a slippery slope. What happens when they want to ban the protests you want to attend?
Well, exactly. He has said to the police they should use robust powers and that they should ensure that the remembrance events are not affected and that kind of thing.
But how could the police make an argument that this weekend should be more violent than last weekend or the weekend before? This is not the first of these pro-Palestinian protests every Saturday.
Tricky, isn't it? Lewis, do you feel for Rishi Sunak here? I mean, you know, he's in a bit of a dilemma, isn't he?
Well, I don't really understand how politics work in this country. I mean...
Well, I'm glad I asked you then.
Yeah. Because, and I don't think the people do either. Who does this guy, Mark Rowley, work for? He's head of the Metropolitan Police. Who hires him? How is he given a job? He must be given a job by Rishi Sunak.
Yes, but he's also answerable to Rishi Sunak.
Yes, so he could be fired. So if I go in and I say something, and I go to my boss, Andrew, and I say, Andrew, and you go, no, don't do that, and I do it, you're going to fire me.
We have a very strict hierarchy here at GBNews, which we observe, which I don't think is the case when it comes to politicians or the police. I think there's a bit more back and forth. Is that right?
And all of a sudden his boss would change when there's an election. So it doesn't quite work that the boss is just the Prime Minister.
He has to be... You have to stand by the principles. The principles always have to be the same, don't they?
Well,
that's a messy situation.
And then the question is, you know, as a free speech absolutist, should these people be allowed to protest? And I think they should be allowed to protest if they're citizens. I don't think people who have just come to this country on any visa except for citizens should be allowed to protest against
Lewis,
the policy.
Out of interest, what is your citizenship status?
This has nothing to do with me.
Well, no, just out of interest. Are you a UK citizen?
I have lived in this country for 23 years. I don't think this is any of your business.
Very much not answering that question.
Not answering the question, because you've done a lot of protests, haven't you? You did that whole green space protest in Peckham.
But it was when I protest, it's different.
I'm trying to look for some kind of consistency here. I think it sounds like you're a bit of a hypocrite, Lewis Schaefer.
What gives you the right to say that, Andrew?
Well, you know, we can have this out in the break, because it's getting ugly already.